I think that was a pivotal point for us to kind of break down that limiting belief of the only way to get people is just smile and dial versus I call it permission based marketing. The people who want it apply so you can help them, right? So it sounded too good to be true. But once we started implementing in our business, that allowed me to kind of surround myself with people who are interested in doing it that way, right?
Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Real Estate Pros Podcast. I'm your host, Scott Bursey, and today I'm joined by someone I've really been looking forward to chatting with, Oz Konar. One of the biggest hurdles for any real estate professional isn't finding the deal, it's finding the capital. Oz has made it his mission to solve that problem. Joining us from New Jersey, he is the founder and the president of Business Lending Blueprint. Oz is a multiple seven-figure entrepreneur and pioneer in the alternative lending space. He's helped thousands of people step away from the corporate grind to build recession-proof businesses in the lending world. And today, he's here to pull back the curtain on how real estate pros can leverage creative financing and alternative capital to scale their portfolios. Oz, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having me. Pleasure to be here.
I think our audience is really going to take something away from your unique perspective on how the invisible side of real estate, the capital portion, you break that down so people can understand it easily. Let's dive in, shall we? So first off, for people who may not be familiar with your world, give us the short version. What's your main focus these days?
Yeah, great question. So our main focus is helping people understand alternative lending industry. It's not a topic that is searched a lot online, and most people do not wake up thinking about alternative financing, but it is such an integrated thing into our universe, especially for people who want to grow real estate. I remember when I invested into my first rental properties, got the second one, the third one, and when I wanted to get the fourth one, the bank was like, yeah, you're a little too high risk. I'm like, what do you mean? All the properties are cash flowing. I'm not late on my payments. Like, what's going on? They're like, yeah, based on our underwriting criteria, you need to kind of take a break, right? So if you think about probably most of your audience, ambitious business owners, they want to grow. And that was my first roadblock in getting access to capital, because I thought I did everything right. And all of a sudden the bank is their internal processes and whatnot would stop me from investing further, right? And then I was, fortunately enough, someone offered to teach me how alternative lending works by asking me to send my referrals to him, right? And he gave me a 15-minute brief on what kind of deals he could fund, from equipment to SBA to merchant cash advance. I honestly, this was 10 years ago, I didn't understand half of what he was saying. I'm like, okay, so what do you want me to do? He's like, well, introduce me to businesses who need capital, right? I'm glad I did it. And that led to basically him funding the first deal and handing me a check for $4,000, which is an amount that I never seen with my name next to it, basically. And that was my entry point to the alternative lending industry. And from there, we expanded our universe into different funding options, including commercial real estate deals that are in our network. So that's what we do with people who want to learn alternative lending and have access to the partners who can make, their dreams come to reality if it is the right deal and whatnot. because you can Google your way into things, but the problem is you don't know who's who and how they might or they might not be able to help you. And then you need to be a little more informed when it comes to real estate investing or like business funding and things like that. So in my universe, we try to cover that area based on our experience on what we do on a day-to-day basis.
And what markets are you currently operating in?
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
All 50 states, basically, in the United States. We have some funding options in Canada, but Canada's alternative lending industry is not as developed as US. So even the Canadian members, we recommend them to focus on deals in US, because in both real estate, commercial real estate, and also business funding, I mean, the area is wide open. United States, there's just so many opportunities.
Love it. What caught my attention about you was the way you've been able to position yourself as the go-to alternative when traditional banks say no, showing real estate pros that they don't necessarily have to let a rigid lending system stall their growth. That's not easy, especially in this climate. What's been the key to keeping your machine running smoothly?
A lot of education. So we get trained a lot, and having our lenders come and educate our members, right? It's one thing for me to educate our members, but we never like the idea of the whole training dependent on one person's skill set and ability to teach. That's why we created the network. These lenders, we require them to jump on a weekly calls with our members because, as you know, the funding opportunities and the funding qualifications change all the time in alternative lending. So they're the best to come in and show examples, creative financing options that is available. So that was like the biggest lever that we could pull. And this allows us to educate our members on what could be done so they don't end up over disqualifying their leads, right? That we see that a lot. So they have two options and they say, oh, this wouldn't work. We make that happen all the time. So not every deal gets funded, but if you lack the knowledge or you're not working with an underwriter or a funding company who's seen deals like that from ground up to like commercial to multifamily and things like that, I believe, I highly, like I mentioned, highly believe in education. So if you're into real estate or funding, you need to know what you're talking about and you need to know what could be done and could not be done. And as of now, we don't have a way of kind of exporting that knowledge into somebody's brain. So they just need to sit down and understand and also take massive action. So that's what we focus on as our like core model.
Couldn't agree more. That collaborative communication is so critical, especially in your field. Now, it's impressive that you've reached that level of autonomy. Was there a specific moment, Oz, or maybe a particular deal where you realized, okay, hey, this is actually working?
I wouldn't teach anything that I haven't done myself. So it was doing a lot of the deals, but I started burning out because all of my lead sources were like buying data, telemarketing, and cold calling. I came from the sales background, so that's what I knew. Like I used to dial 600 people a day through Power Dialer 3 days a week. And the remaining 2-3 days, I would be on the streets of New York, pulling on doors and talking to people and going to networking events and things like that. I'm like, wow, this is brutal. We're making money, but it doesn't seem like this is scalable unless I go through the traditional way of how Wall Street companies grow, have a massive office and like a boiler room mentality, Wolf of Wall Street, and have people smile and dial. That's when I started investing into marketing to understand how do other people who are far advanced than me actually do this. And that's when I know the strategies such as, oh, you can actually do email marketing, you can do paid advertising. I think that was a pivotal point for us to kind of break down that limiting belief of the only way to get people is just smile and dial versus, I call it permission-based marketing. The people who want it apply so you can help them, right? So it sounded too good to be true. But once we started implementing in our business, that allowed me to kind of surround myself with people who are interested in doing it that way, right? Because alternative lending industry, although it's relatively young, the way most companies operate is very old school. Like they want to have big leases and big offices and things like that. And when we talked about, hey, we can actually email your list and like get like 10 deals out of it today, they're like, no way. And when we started showing people how that is done through like core marketing skills, I would say that was the pivotal point that differentiated us from everyone else, where we show them there's an easier way to do. Yes, there is still skill set required, but marketing skills will not go anywhere. Google might not exist tomorrow, but there will be another platform where people will need to go to a place to search for information, right? But if you know how to utilize it, you'll never have lead problems. So I would say that was the turning point in our company.
If you're looking for consistent, high-quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data-driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
What a huge transformation, and continually to transform as different opportunities arise. Now, Oz, every operator I know has a moment where things got real. Maybe a deal that went sideways or a time that you had to pivot fast. You mind sharing one of those moments with us?
Yes. So one thing I learned from one of my mentors, Alex Hormozy, you might be seeing him on YouTube. So I personally get mentored by him and his team. So one thing he mentioned is that what got you to a certain amount will not be enough to double that business. Let's say you're making a million a year. To make 2 million a year, you might not just get there by doing more, right? So that was the limiting belief, because I come from the hustle mindset. Like being on the streets is like, if I just work harder, I can double the business. What I noticed is as you scale businesses, I remember when we did our first, 3 million a year, I'm like, wow, okay, so we're officially a 7-figure company. I'm just going to double that. I noticed that everything started falling apart, because we were just trying to push the existing model that was designed to make that much to double it. And it required a different model. Like a company does 100 million acts and do things a lot differently than how we used to do it, right? Because up until that point, it was like a founder led company. I was the leader, and the people around me were just helpers, amazing people, but more like assistants. It wasn't like a democracy. Like I was like, we do this, Scott, and Scott does it, or vice versa, right? And then I noticed that if I wanted to go to the next level, I need to hire leaders, not employees. So that was then we had to go through the process, painful process of looking for a proper coach. I'm like, because I carry all the knowledge in my mind, now I need to either transfer it or find someone who already has it so they can take over that department. Same thing happened with the sales and marketing. So that was a point that it was like very interesting, that I feel like, oh my God, everything is falling apart. What is really happening? But then that's when, when you get coaching that helps, because someone else who's been through that, they were like, no, this is normal. It's not like this is the process you're going to go, because you're trying to double, which is not normal. And you're trying to use the old framework, the system to do that. It's just not going to work. It's like trying to tow a trailer with a Toyota Corolla. Like if you're just commuting to work, that's going to be enough. But if you're going to tow something much bigger, it's not going to be enough. It's not because the car is bad. It's because you're using the wrong vehicle, basically. Does that make sense?
It certainly does. What a unique building step process. And just to elaborate on that unique process, looking at your business today, what tripwire or system have you built specifically so that exact misfortune doesn't reoccur again?
We're still working on it, but one thing that we get a lot of compliments on is our online presence, like the branding, right? So like free content. So we utilize our YouTube channel. We have about 55,000 subscribers, and then we use it as a platform to provide a lot of information. Like I said, my industry is not the top of the mind for many people. Like people think about crypto, real estate, investing, starting an Amazon business and becoming a real estate agent, but they don't wake up thinking about becoming a business loan broker and funding, facilitating those deals. So it's almost like we have to channel the demand. And then what we figured out is if you consistently create content and put it on the area that has the most usage as a consumption, which is YouTube, right? And then grow that channel that allowed for people to get a taste of who we are and what we do before they decide to invest or come onto our universe. So we're doubling down on that effort right now to build a massive presence online, so people don't have any doubts, or and also it can kind of weed out people who are not a good fit, either because they're not really interested in this or we're not interested in working with them, right? That has been a really, really important decision. We knew that it's always been a long-term project because when you can't just grow a channel in 2 days. It takes years. Our YouTube channel has been in existence since 2018, but it was underutilized. Now, over the past year, we're leaning heavily on it, and we'll do more and should do more. I think that's going to build a lot more resilience into business itself. So we're not just relying on like paid ads and other means of getting customers. People organically find us, and the people who would be a good fit for us or us being a good fit for them would be attracted to it.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Oh, absolutely. And that's adapting at its finest. That's the kind of stuff, Oz, that people don't talk about enough. And honestly, it's what separates the folks who just dabble from the ones who stay in the game long term. Let me ask you this. What are you most focused on solving or scaling next?
I am, as the founder, since I have department heads on all departments currently, my main focus is making the technology move, making it easy for our brokers who are involved in our platform to utilize AI, because obviously we live in the age of AI, right? And many people are extremely confused on what to do with it. And the system makes you feel like you're falling behind if you don't do anything with it. I think my problem with that is, yeah, AI is capable of doing a lot of things, but if you're not clear on what to do with it, you feel like you're just going to dabble in there and just try different language models and just doing this and that, take a course on it, which is all fine options. But if you're in a network, they should be the one kind of thinking about what to do with it. That's why we tell our students, like, let us become the technology platform. So we built an AI underwriting system so our students can upload whatever information they have about their potential lead, and they can get instant decisions on the likelihood of that file being built. So I am converting that into also a marketing system where they can attract referral partners instantly, because it's one of the ways that I've grown my business, working through referral partners, right? I used to partner up with accounting firms, banks, and anyone who has the customers that I want. And since I didn't have a personal brand, I would borrow their authority, basically. Oh, Scott is famous, so I'm going to build a partnership with Scott. And if he likes me enough, he's going to probably open his network to me. And then I've been teaching that to our students, but we didn't have the technology to do that. Now, each student can come in and create referral partnership landing pages, marketing collateral, and track all the referral partners in one place. So that's the big move that I'm spending a lot of time, and it's going to take us about another 2 months to fully complete that project. But it's super exciting, and I think that's going to allow us to get to the next level.
It's really exciting, and I'm excited for you. Let me ask you this. What's the next real goal for you, the bullseye, if you will, Oz?
We want to become the largest alternative lending funding company. So we're the largest coaching company currently. We broke that record a few years ago. We're proud of that. That's awesome. But as an entrepreneur, I think the next phase for us is to make sure that our funding department captures most of the funding, because the problem I'm trying to solve is that a lot of the brokers who are in existence, either in real estate or alternative lending, like business funding, they don't really know why they do what they do. That leads to a false belief of thinking that there's not enough resources or not even funding options. So we're going to keep educating it, but the bigger move is to make it easy for them to fund deals. I don't think something like that exists right now, that our funding platforms, but before you even use the platform, you got to know what the heck you're doing. And that's the gap. Like the platform does the job, but if you don't know what your job is and how you can basically augment the information, so that's the big domino that we're going to be working on tackling, which is going to take time. It's probably another 2 to 3 year goal to get to that level, but that's our big, I guess, North Star goal now.
Awesome. Utilizing the components that you have in place and taking them to a higher level. That's very admirable. Now, we see
Thank you.
people chase doors or revenue all the time. For you, is that goal the destination, or is it just the fuel that allows you to build something even bigger?
I think the mission is important. We want to eradicate financial illiteracy as much as possible because when you think about what is causing the demand for funding, it could be operational issue, it could be the bad decisions on a business, or it could be the lack of inexperience, a lack of experience from the entrepreneur side. But many of them come back to individuals, especially in the US, not understanding how financing and lending works, right? So my personal story is when I came to the United States, I didn't speak a word of English. My father had been here before us and he had a small business. 2, 3 months after our arrival, we found out that his business was failing and he had to file for bankruptcy. And this is when I didn't even know what a bankruptcy was, right? And we learned the hard way and we had to, dig ourselves through that hole. It took us 3, 4 years. And since then, I developed that PTS2, just asked that question, why did this happen? Why is this happening? Then as great as my father is, he just didn't understand how business worked. He was a great artist in what he did, like the skill set for what he does, but he didn't know managing financing and getting, like the whole business could have been saved if he had access to a business line of credit, but he didn't even know what a business line of credit was, right? So I think it's not so much the destination, it's just the people we meet along the way and helping them better themselves and prepare themselves financially or what is possible, not just for themselves, but helping other businesses in the US. Because if you look at the alternative lending industry, there's only about 15, 20,000 business loan brokers. And the number of businesses out there is about 34 million. Like there's a massive mismatch. Like we need people to be more informed about these options, right? So if you minus the actual like bank employed business loan brokers, alternative lending is extremely small, but the demand is much bigger.
Yes, that network to the information is so huge. Now, let me ask you this. Your next move can either compound things or perhaps create chaos, depending on how you play it. Now, I know a lot of our audience is either earlier in their journey or looking to level up, and I think they'd benefit from hearing this. When it comes to building relationships and growing your network, Oz, what's made the biggest difference for you?
That's a great question, actually. Biggest difference is providing value before asking for it, trying to be a resource to the other person. Like sometimes I go to networking events a lot and people just meet you 2 minutes into it and they have an ask to make, right? But if you just become a valuable person to them, then it goes two ways, right? Both ways, then you start building that bonding and that relationship. And I highly suggest you nail it. If you want to grow your business, trying to grow it from your own living room by yourself, hustling will help. But if you want to take it to the next level, you need to be out there talking to people. I'm an introverted person. I don't like going to events, but if you're serious about business, you have to overcome your limiting beliefs, right? So I go to networking events. Like business doesn't care how you feel about things. Like you got to do what you got to do. And I guarantee you, whether you're introverted or extroverted, every one of us is interesting. Like, Scott, you're an interesting person. I think to some people, I'm a little bit interesting, but just putting yourself out there will make a huge difference because you also start noticing patterns. A lot of business success doesn't come from like hardcore application of stuff. It's pattern recognition, right? And pattern recognition comes from watching other businesses, talking to other business owners and seeing what they're doing. Like you might be in disagreement. So I think we need to start thinking more like how the big entrepreneurs think versus like a small business. Even though you might be very small right now, doesn't matter. But the trajectory of this needs to be like adapting to thinking like, I don't know, Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, and you might laugh to yourself saying, I have 2 properties, but doesn't matter because that level of thinking comes with a lot of experience and pain. I read a lot of books by Charles Munger, one of the greatest investors of all time. Right? Why? Am I in stock market? Not really. The thinking thought processes or mental models are still the same that applies to every business.
Some excellent food for thought. And everyone says provide value. Oz, but when you were starting out and you didn't have a huge bank account
No.
or a massive portfolio, what was your currency? How did you actually get the attention of the heavy hitters?
solving a problem for them, that's a great question, right? And understanding what it is that they need. Many of us, and I'm guilty of this. When I first started out, I had my own agenda. I'm gonna meet Scott, and I'm gonna hopefully he likes me, and I can do stuff. But I never initially cared about what Scott wanted for his or her business, right? So it's like super important. Asking the questions of like, what is it that you're looking to solve? What's like the next thing? And then if you attend those events, you probably know someone else. Like you might not have the value to provide, but you might be the connector of the person. Hey, I met John. He's also in real estate, Scott. Like, do you guys know each other? Can I connect it with you? And then all of a sudden you get Scott's attention because Scott is busy, he's running a business and all that stuff. And this guy comes in and you can read from a mile away that he's going to want something. But if you kind of put your agenda secondary, but primarily try to become a resource, yes, that's the great objection, Scott. Like, what if I don't know much? Perfect. But nothing stops you from knowing people. And also, like, there will be times that I remember going to a networking event and we were talking. This guy's like, our business is growing, but my website sucks. Horrible website. We had a bad designer and it's just, it kills me. And I don't know anything about website building, right? So I went back home and started looking for website developers from my network. Like, who's a good person who does an amazing job for this industry? After a couple of days, I had a couple of people recommended to me. I called the guy back and said, hey, I know you complained about your website. Have you figured it out? Not yet. All right. I have a couple of people if you want to interview them. I'm not making anything from it. Just wanted to provide. See, I didn't need to understand how to solve the problem, like how to build a website or why he thinks his website is bad. It's just a matter of finding people who understands and making the connection. Whether he hires that person or not, he will just not forget that I did that for him. Does that make sense?
Oh, it makes perfect sense. Being authentic, caring. That's huge. Relationships, Oz, are everything in this space.
Yes.
All right, before we wrap, if someone wanted to reach out, connect with you, maybe collaborate or learn more about what you've been doing, what's the best way for them to contact you?
Our best way is our website, businessstandingblueprint.com. There you can learn about what we do and also see our YouTube channel link. So you can go ahead and start consuming information. We have a lot of content there for you to understand how maybe alternative lending industry works. Everything, my social handles and things like that on our website. I highly suggest for someone to at least be a little more informed about the alternative lending industry, whether they want to do that or not. It's super important because you might not see that information anywhere else, basically, because it's not like a very common knowledge.
Perfect. Well, listen, I appreciate your time, your story, and definitely your perspective. We need more people in this space who are doing it the right way. Thanks again for being here.
Thanks for having me, Scott. I appreciate it.
And for those of you tuning in, if you got value from this, make sure you're subscribed. We've got more conversations coming up with operators just like Oz, who are out there building real dynamic businesses. We'll see you in the next episode, everybody.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.